Hi everyone, Kelvin here from London. I review all types of stereo equipment. I'm just trying to find the best sound and hopefully not for much money. I'm going to review these Bang & Olufsen from 1968 speakers, but also at the end of this video I'm going to do like a live, or not a live, but a sound test, actual sound, yeah, not just me talking about it. And I'll tell you a little bit about that just before I do it. You know, it proved more tricky than you might think, but there's still some interesting results. Anyway, so gonna review today these pretty gorgeous Bang & Olufsen Beovox 3000, yeah, from 1968. So that's pretty old speakers, yeah. They're rated at 40 watts, three-way. I mean, you know, this is, you know, you'd call this a tweeter more than a mid-range, I'd say, but it's very big, so it wouldn't surprise me if it comes down a bit lower in frequency range than your average tweeter. And it actually got a little cone, I guess you call that a super tweeter, and a fairly substantial, why is that making noise? No, it's okay. Fairly substantial bass driver here, yeah. Now this was like top of the range of a particular range. I'm pretty sure this was the top one, and I'll show you another one that was lower down the range, which is the I think it's the 1500, which I've got over there. I'll show it to you, which I wouldn't really waste your time on. You know, it's not very good. This is quite a nice thing, really has got some nice qualities about it. What else? Let me see. Let's do this a bit more. So yeah, paper cone, big tweeter, paper cone. It's going to be live, you know, it's quite a lot of life when you've got this paper cone, big tweeter, sealed box, yeah. Whenever I put sealed boxes on, you know, as opposed to ported boxes, something in me always normally goes, oh, I like it, you know. It sort of controls the bass more, particularly in old speakers. I mean, one thing I would say is they're probably mastered ports and port loading nowadays better than they had in these days, you know. What else? The crossover is not too complex. I've had a look inside, but you know, this ain't nice about this. You know, to me, this box is the right size for this driver. You know, it just lets it breathe, and it just kind of the right. Just, you know, in those days, or in any day really, when they make big ranges of speakers, you know, not all of them happen to hit the mark, because they might want to use the same tweeter, or they might use this bass driver in a smaller one and it doesn't quite work out. But this works out, it works out nicely, you know. If you want to buy these, it's pretty damn hard to say how much they go for or should go for, because there's not that many of them about. I mean, I'd say maybe something like £100, £120. If they're working, I'll be really happy with that. You know, I'd be really happy with that. Let me I'll just show you the grill, and I'll show you this other speaker, which is the lower one down the range. But anyway, you know, it looks really retro, you know. It's got a nice look. And this is I think this is rosewood. Is this rosewood? I think it is. I actually put some finish on that, some finishing oil on it. It's pretty scratched on the top, but it looks real nice, you know. It just looks really nice. And I kind of like the proportions. I bought this and the other one speakers maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, when no one was, you know, when people could barely give things like this away, you know. Whereas now people think they've got some a gold mine on their hands if they've got an old retro speaker. But 4 or 5 years ago, they took age, you know, no one wanted to buy them. So anyway, let me just show you this other one. 1 second. Stay there. Let's move that. I'm only showing you this really as a comparative thing, and also to say, you know, this one doesn't really cut the mustard, you know. This paper cone doesn't give you too much bass. A lot of paper cones, lively mid-range, but this other one is a, you know, a class above it, you know. I mean, if you find these, I looked on eBay actually just now for these speakers, and there were 2 pairs that had sold recently. One of them sold for £30, right? Which, you know, that's about fine, 30, 40, 50 max, I'd say. And another pair sold for £5. What was it? £5.69. Yeah, and they seem to be working, you know. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. But you know, I wouldn't particularly go out of my way to buy those 1500 ones. But these, the 3000s, you know, they're nice. That tweeter is a SEAS, S-E-A-S. I've looked on the back, yeah. You will see that tweeter in lots of other designs. Goodman's used it, Bang & Olufsen used it, lots of Scandinavian companies use a Scandinavian tweeter. It's all over the place, that tweeter. And it's nice, you know. So if you see that tweeter, you can be fairly sure the top end's going to be pretty nice, you know. I mean, because it's a big dome, I think it doesn't go up to the extreme heights, you know, which is why they've added that super tweeter. And a lot of the time you'll see this on its own as just the only tweeter, which is okay, but it's probably missing maybe the real top end. But it's nice sounding and it really disperses nicely. It's a big dome, probably sound like 40 mil, you know, usually a tweeter's about 20. Okay, let's do sound. Okay, I'm just going to read from my notes, and it will probably be the best way to do it. This speaker, it hits the mark. I put these speakers on, they've been in the basement for ages, yeah, and I put them on, and it's one of those ones where you put it on and you just suddenly go, ah, that's good, that's what I want, you know. Nice orientation, nice mid-range and bass are kind of separated, if you know what I mean, you know, so everything's sort of accessible to hear. Nothing seems to be clouding each other, you know, the bass isn't clouding the mid-range, you know, just nice. And I put them on and I thought, oh good, I just thought, oh good. And actually all I thought was, let's listen to all kinds of music now, you know. I wasn't like thinking, like turned off my analytical brain and let's just listen to some music, you know. What else we got here? It's airy. The bass doesn't mess with the mid-range. Guitars sound great. You know, that paper cone is nice and quick. Will do guitars nicely, you know. Whereas a heavier cone would just sort of slow that guitar down or stop it having the speed, you know. Nice snare drum. Snare drums are pretty good, or good enough for me, you know, and I'm a fusspot. You know, again, let me sort of keep this in context. This is a speaker you should pay around £100 odd for. You know, I would prefer this to most modern speakers that cost £300-400. Let's say that. I'm not comparing it with £1,000 speakers. But yeah, it's not very, you know, the magnet on that isn't super big, yeah? I've looked at the magnet on that. What you don't want to do with these is put them right out in the middle of the room, yeah? Because they actually, like, it's good to give them a little bit of bass help. So nearer to a wall or maybe nearer to a corner, just to get a bit more bass from the sort of reverberation that goes backwards and comes back out again. So, give it a little tweak the bass up a bit. But the bass it's pokey because it's a closed box, and it's quite controlled. It's quite controlled. It's just nice. You feel you're not sort of struggling to follow what's going on, and it's not all blurry and fat. It's pretty taut but not huge and powerful, but it was just kind of fine, kind of right. Nice depth, nice sound stage. It's just surprising, just actually surprised me that I don't know, just feel like this speaker, for whatever reason, just gets things just right. Just happen to get it right. There are other speakers that happen to get it wrong, but these ones just happen. And I would say happen because there's not that many speakers that really hit the mark. So I kind of think it has to be a sort of element of fluke, Anyway. What else we got here? Nice soundstage, position for bass boost, lively. Okay. What else have we got here? I did a few songs. Okay, this will reveal some of the pluses and minuses of this speaker. I did the song Gravity, Alison Krauss, yeah? That's from 2004, I think. They make these country and western recordings just seem to be really good. Just so nice. Guitars and things like that, and the voice just seemed incredible. That's a nice Spartan song, female vocal, guitar, bass, not much else, yeah? Sounded really nice, really in the room, really alive, maybe not utterly refined, this isn't the best tweeter in the world, and it's a paper super tweeter, but it had that sort of alive and in the roomness that you get with paper cones and I don't know, things that haven't had all the life designed out of them, So, but then just to sort of give you the context. So that was really nice, really enjoyable. Then I played the E Street Shuffle, Bruce Springsteen, load of mid-range in that. And I would say that's where it's sort of, it came undone a little bit, this speaker. So what did I put? I put a bit erratic in the mid-band. Bit sort of like struggling to stay on top of a very busy mid-range. All these paper cones. That's what they, this is the kind of thing with old speakers and paper cones. They need taming sometimes, and sometimes you can't tame them. And it's revealed in a song like that. It just gets a bit chaotic. And, that's just the nature of it. Whereas something like the Alison Krauss one, you don't notice anything wrong. And it's great, and it's really that aliveness that you get on the Alison Krauss, the in the roomness, is what causes the problem on the E Street Shuffle. If you get me, it just creates, now I've got too much aliveness, right? They're in the room and actually, they're kind of like, they're pissed, What else? Go Your Own Way, Fleetwood Mac. Good, I just enjoyed it, to be honest with you. Good, exciting, a lot of mid-range. Okay, it's probably, what else could I say? That's probably about that for this speaker, but coming up in a sec is going to be the sound test between this and the ls35a. The ls35a is a miles more expensive speaker. It's a little speaker, but it performed quite well. You'll see. What am I talking about? I did this sound test, and I tell you what happened. I thought it wasn't going to sound good. Yeah, I thought, I'm using the mic on my expensive iPhone, stereo setting on a special app called Filmic Pro. But when I played it back, I was really surprised that the app or the phone or the mic had sort of compensated for discrepancies, So where there wasn't enough bass, it seemed to have filled the bass up. It's not an automatic sound level, not as simple as that, more complicated than that. But it sounded good, but it didn't sound like it sounded in the room exactly. Let's say that. And and I'll also let me just say, amplifier wise for that test, I used my power amp of an old Marantz 2238BL. I used the power amp of that section, and I didn't use that, and I used a linn Wakomda preamp. Yeah, so I used the separation at the back, and I've been messing around with preamps and power amps, and I found that kind of worked nice. You know, the delicacy of the linn sort of tamed a little bit of the little harshness of the Marantz, and that was the best combo I could actually get. So that's what you're going to listen to, and so that's it. I will say goodbye now, but you're going to listen to about 2 or 3 minutes and tell me if you like it or if it works out, or, you know, it's not perfect, I know, but just give me some feedback. Okay, thanks. Coming up.